This is why people get banned from the internet. These kind of conversations.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the most notoriously contentious episodes of comedian and commentator Joe Rogan's podcast.
Furthermore, anybody who questions that narrative is to be immediately attacked. They are the other. This is central to mass formation psychosis.
Number 10, The Joe Rogan Experience with Milo Yiannopoulos. Right-wing commentator and divisive provocateur Milo Yiannopoulos has been outright banned from numerous social media sites for his controversial views. So it should not have been a surprise that the former Breitbart news editor would stir up controversy on the Joe Rogan Experience when he was a guest.
So a dude dressed like a wizard sitting on a golden throne.
All right, we're done.
And you have to call him father.
Milo wound up in touchy and confrontational conversations with Rogan. But when the subject of religion came up, things got messy.
You're not religious.
No, I believe. I don't necessarily go to mass all the time, but I
you
do
believe what?
Believe. I'm a Catholic.
Yiannopoulos shared some disturbing revelations pertaining to an inappropriate relationship he had with a priest when he was younger. Something he spun as a positive experience.
I was in my teens,
You said you were 14.
something like that.
Milo's apologist statements unsurprisingly led to a loss of publishing deals, among other career repercussions. Number 9. The Joe Rogan Experience with Adam Conover. A comedian and host in his own right, Adam Conover is known for debunking misconceptions and myths on his now defunct educational TV program, Adam Ruins Everything. And while he's normally a voice of reason, Adam was criticized for a lack of preparation, not to mention questionable arguments, when he engaged with Joe Rogan on the subject of transgender athletes.
There's a bunch of advantages in terms of reaction time that males enjoy. It's some significant difference in reaction time between males and even untrained males versus female professional athletes.
Conover spoke about transgender individuals finding their identity at a young age, only for Rogan to start arguing that children shouldn't be given hormones or gender reassignment surgeries.
People don't know who they are. A 7-year-old, you won't even, people don't even give their 7-year-old phones. You don't let them vote. You're going to let them decide what sex they're going to be for the rest of their life?
With such a heated debate concerning the entire trans community and ethics around transitioning, this episode became one of the show's most heated.
I have not looked at the research myself.
I don't think
I have not
there's
done this
research
topic on my
that
show.
shows the positive benefits of children transitioning. I don't think that exists.
Well, we can't solve that in this conversation right here.
Number 8. The Joe Rogan Experience with Jack Dorsey. Before Elon Musk took over on Twitter and injected it with his personal brand of X, the social media platform was run in part by billionaire tech founder Jack Dorsey.
Is there any consideration to expanding it further?
Not right now. We're
How about 1 million characters? No?
When Dorsey was announced as a guest on Joe Rogan's podcast, many expected the host to give the Twitter co-founder a good grilling over the site's string of controversies. However, when the episode launched, Rogan's fans cried foul, claiming he was too soft on Dorsey and barely challenged him.
What has that been like for you?
it's been both beautiful and scary. And
The controversy surrounding this corporate-friendly chat grew so much that Rogan was forced to issue a statement.
I didn't think the podcast would create such a controversy, but that's probably poor prior planning on my part.
Luckily, the tech giant was brought back for a second round where Rogan's reputation was ultimately redeemed. Number 7. The Joe Rogan Experience with Douglas Murray. In 2020, during an intense California wildfire season, Joe Rogan spoke with writer-podcaster Douglas Murray. During the conversation, Rogan shared a somewhat baffling conspiracy that revolved around left-wing people being the ones starting the array of forest fires and stated that these leftists had been arrested doing so. Well, much like wildfires themselves, this conspiracy spread quickly amongst his audience. So much so that the FBI had to step in and inform the public this was not true. For his part, Rogan would publicly acknowledge the controversy he started and offer an apology, essentially admitting to spreading politically motivated misinformation before looking into the claims fully.
I said something on the podcast with Douglas Murray about people getting arrested for lighting fires, and I got duped. It's wrong.
Number 6. The Joe Rogan Experience with Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden is a highly condemned whistleblower by the United States of America. After all, he is responsible for the much-discussed National Security Agency leaks in 2013.
All those years I was sitting, hoping for someone else to come forward, and no one did, right? That's because I was waiting for a hero. But there are no heroes, right? There's only heroic decisions.
In 2019, Snowden appeared in the Joe Rogan Experience, although not in studio. This was due to the former computer intelligence consultant seeking asylum in Russia after the leaks and residing there ever since. In the highly viewed episode, Snowden shared his personal story with Rogan while also shedding light on the issue of surveillance and the potential dangers of smartphones gathering personal information.
There were domestic surveillance programs, there were mass surveillance programs that worked internationally. Basically, everything that they could monitor, they were monitoring.
Despite his condemnation by the U.S. government, the appearance was positively received by Joe's audience.
The government, of course, was trying very hard to change the conversation, as they always do, to be about who is this guy? What have they done, right? What's wrong with them? What are their problems? Who is this loony guy? So they can controversialize the source of a story rather than having to confront the story itself.
Number 5. The Joe Rogan Experience with Candace Owens.
The people that were running, like Hillary Clinton, like this woman was a globalist. Like, just think about who we were in bed with, like Saudi Arabia, selling all of our uranium to Russia. Like Trump came in and was like, no.
Polarizing political talk show host and author Candace Owens has sparked her fair share of controversies over the years, including outright criticizing the Black Lives Matter movements.
Problem with racism is nobody knows what it means anymore.
Well, I think
Everything's racist. You could the Starbucks situation, which to me was not racist, was racist. Is that racism?
But it was her stance on climate change that ignited a firestorm on the Joe Rogan Experience. Owens would go on to state that climate change was not as big of an issue as it's made out to be.
But it's always happened.
Yes, it has always happened.
So what is the climate change? Yes, the climate changes. It was different weather yesterday than it was today.
She further asserted her disbelief in global warming. Things got heated, however, when Rogan accused her of being misinformed and cited various studies.
I said I don't believe it, and then you asked me, and I said this wouldn't be the hill I chose to die on because I don't
but why
follow
even
it.
say you don't believe in it?
Because I just personally, if you
How about not have a belief until you really have
okay,
looked
so
at the
you
data?
would prefer.
For Candace Owens, though, it was clear she was just happy to have the platform to spread her beliefs. Number 4. The Joe Rogan Experience with Robert W. Malone. In the midst of the global pandemic, Joe Rogan welcomed physician and biochemist Robert W. Malone on his show. Like others on this list, Malone has also been banned from several social media sites for controversial opinions that many professionals, including those in the medical industry, deem dangerous. And so, when guesting on Rogan's podcast, Malone continued to stir controversy by sharing his thoughts on vaccines and how the pandemic response was comparable to Nazi Germany.
When you have a society that has become decoupled from each other and has free-floating anxiety and a sense that things don't make sense, we can't understand it. And then their attention gets focused by a leader or a series of events on one small point, just like hypnosis.
While Malone is an mRNA technology pioneer, his statements were ultimately seen as harmful and misinformed. Number 3. The Joe Rogan Experience with Elon Musk. One of Joe Rogan's biggest gets led to one of his most watched episodes, not to mention a fair bit of controversy.
Very good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And thanks for not lighting this place on fire.
You're welcome.
When Elon Musk appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience in 2018, he made himself comfortable with the host. Maybe a little too comfortable, you see. Elon proceeded to take a hit of Rogan's cigar, only his cigar was a mix of tobacco and cannabis.
Pause.
You never had that?
Yeah, I think I tried one once.
The visual was apparently a bit too scandalous for some on Wall Street, as Tesla's stock plunged. However, some say this was due to an executive departure that happened around the same time. Regardless, the media had a field day with Musk's appearance on Joe's show.
Well, it's not just a drug. It's a drug that gets a bad rap. Because if you just have a little, it's great.
Fine.
Number 2. The Joe Rogan Experience with Dr. Jordan Peterson. Former University of Toronto professor Dr. Jordan Peterson can largely thank his appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience for greatly elevating his profile.
The human proclivity to pull down those who have more than you. It's like these kids on the campuses who are claiming identity with the oppressed, at somewhere like Yale. It's like, how in the world you can speak of oppression if you happen to be at Yale is beyond me.
Peterson is a critic of political correctness and shares many contentious views around such hot-button topics as pronouns, climate change, and transgender individuals.
First thing to say about that is that's impossible. And the reason it's impossible is because there's no limit to the number of ways that you can categorize people into groups.
He is also at odds with the Canadian federal government. All of his opinions were on full display on Rogan's show. He also ruffled feathers with his stance on solar energy, saying it is hazardous. Peterson stated that more people die every year from solar energy than die from nuclear power.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. The Joe Rogan Experience with Alex Jones. Joe Rogan has stated on many occasions that his show is open to all manner of guests, and with Alex Jones's appearance, he proved that even the most publicly ostracized are welcome.
This is the most anticipated thing I ever did.
The host of InfoWars is known to constantly spew conspiracy theories and has been labeled as unhinged by many in the media industry.
They have designated me as an international terrorist, and that's how they took 5 of my 6 bank accounts and got me down to 1 bank account.
And so, when he appeared opposite Rogan, critics were up in arms that he was getting the Joe Rogan Experience platform and access to Joe's audience, which is in the millions. Internal pushback from Spotify employees were also cited at the time. Some episodes featuring Jones were even removed from the audio service at one point.
The biggest energy guzzlers, electric cars, are badass. They are putting out more carbon than anybody. Yeah! They don't come out the tailpipe, they come out the power plant top. Woo!
Okay, but what about...
I love electric cars, carbon!
Listen.
Yeah!
Did you listen to any of these episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience? Were they worthy of the controversy surrounding them? Sound off in the comments below.
When it comes to government, and when it comes to me imposing my views on you, I am way less of a top-down tyrant than any of the people in Silicon Valley.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.